Hey y'all, how's everybody doing today? I hope that you guys are enjoying your day. So, in the light of the Diddy um trial that's going on right now, I want to talk about something that I don't hear a lot of people talking about when it comes to the industry, and this is just my opinion, and everything is allegedly. Because we're talking about the horrific things that Cassie had to endure when she was with Diddy. Uh, I feel like when it comes to young women in the industry, they are gifted. And and I'm saying gifted because I don't want to say alleged. I don't want to use the term allegedly trafficked. It seemed to there's a pattern. It would appear to me that there's a pattern when it comes to the music industry and young women for nefarious reasons, in my opinion. And when it comes to Cassie, you guys may not know this, but Cassie, before she was introduced to Diddy by this guy named Ryan Leslie. He was supposed to have been the one that found her or whatever. And they were, I don't know if they were actually dating or if they were just, I don't know if they were, I don't know really what the status of the relationships is. But reports were saying that they were dating. She was 19 years old when she read 18 or 19 when she met Ryan Leslie. He was at the time he was a music producer for Sony Records. He worked for Tommy Mottola, Mariah Carey's um, music exec ex husband, right? So anyway, I feel like when it comes to gifting and in the industry and these young women, they're very naive. They're willing to deal with a lot because they want to become, famous. They want to be stars like a Beyonce or like a Rihanna, right? And I'm sure that's what Cassie wanted. And so because they're so naive, and these men are so much older, I really feel like they know how to control and manipulate them. So she's going with this guy named Ryan Leslie. Ryan Leslie introduces her to Diddy, and I really feel like that Ryan Leslie gifted Cassie to Diddy for whatever reason. It could have been for anything. It could have been, for money. It could have been for, a side record deal. Let me produce X amount of albums for you. It could have been for anything, but for whatever reason, I really feel like Cassie was gifted to Diddy, and that's how she got involved with him in the first place. That is just my opinion, and all of this is allegedly, right? Because, like I said, there seems to be a pattern in the music industry, and not only Cassie. We remember what happened between R. Kelly and Aaliyah. R. Kelly was introduced to Aaliyah when Aaliyah was only 12 years old. She was introduced to R. Kelly by her uncle when she was 12 years old, and I feel like he gifted, for whatever reason, he gifted, in my opinion, he gifted Aaliyah to R. Kelly. You see, there's a pattern. And speaking of Tommy Mottola, Mariah Carey met her first husband, Tommy Mottola, who's a music exec for Sony, when she was like 18 or 19 years old. A couple of years later, when she was 23, they got married. This was her first husband. Of course, they are now divorced. Mariah Carey allegedly had a lot of trauma. Had to endure a lot of trauma when she was with Tommy Mottola. She said he was very controlling. He was like 20 years older than her as well. He was very controlling. She didn't have any autonomy, like Cassie didn't have any autonomy, meaning they didn't have, any freedom. These guys are very insecure, in my opinion, because they're so much older, or they want to control. They want to keep these women bound, and they catch them when they're young because they're easy to manipulate because they're so young, right? And I don't even want to talk about whatever else the reason why. Actually, what Mariah Carey did a video, did what do you call interview way back in the day talking about her relationship with her now ex-husband Tommy Mottola. And Mariah said she was a virgin when she met Tommy Mottola, and that's the first person that she had ever slept with. That's how young she was, entering into this music industry. And there are other people. Can we talk about Jay-Z and Beyonce? Now, allegedly, Jay-Z first met Beyonce when she was 16 years old on the set of a Destiny's Child video, that no Destiny's Child song. So allegedly he first met her on the set of the video, right? And they were reportedly allegedly anyway, they started dating when she was 19 and he was then 31 years old, right? And it's also alleged that Jay-Z might maybe at one point in time tried to date Aaliyah after R. Kelly, but she chose to date Dame Dash. She's an adult by this point, but she's still a very young woman, and he was still much older than her and Dame Dash at the time. And so like the list goes on and on, but it's a very scary situation when you find out, in my opinion, when you have these young women want to get into the industry and you have these powerful men in the music industry and they are pretty much preying, allegedly preying or stalking out, if you will, these younger women, and they start relationships with them. Like I said, it's because they're naive, and it's just like this is like real very unsettling to me, and because all of these men are 20 years or more older than all of the women that I just mentioned. So this is a very serious situation in my opinion. Like I said, everything here is alleged, but it's forming a pattern to me. And I just want to bring it up to y'all, and just circling back around to the Cassie situation. The defense tried the hardest to make it seem like Cassie and Puffy were in a consensual relationship, that he was not in control of her. Everything she did was voluntary, but we know in the situation he had all the power, he had all the control. He had signed her to a 10 album deal with his record company. She only released one album, and I think that's how he started manipulating her. And people are also trying to make it seem like Cassie is some like wayward, loose woman, and all of this and all of that, And and they're Diddy apologists. I don't understand all these Diddy apologists. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It just didn't make sense. But when it comes to this guy Ryan Leslie, in my opinion, he gifted her for whatever reason to Diddy, and that was the start of all out misery when it comes to Cassie. And so that's just very important, very unfortunate. But anyway, that's just my opinion. Everything alleged, everything is alleged. But if you look at the dates and the ages of these people in these relationships, there's a pattern, And so that's, I just want to talk about that a little bit. Anyway, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye bye. Peace.